send the probe into space.
Where are you going to do it, Matt?
The rocket weighs
right here.
1,000 tons. It's the height of a 22-story building. And at
All right.
4:43 in the morning, the final countdown
enough
T-minus 10. Across
I'm
the
just
world,
testing the lighting
8,000
out.
Engineers and technicians hold their collective breath.
I think the lighting is pretty good.
The previous launch of a European space mission called Cluster saw the rocket explode shortly after takeoff.
So what things are you going to be talking about?
And shattering the dreams
What things are you going to be talking about? What are the things? What are the stories you're going to be talking
Oh,
about?
I got 7 items here.
watch and pray.
One in Japan,
Professor Marty Tomasco
one was
of the
a kid
University
about
of
Corona
Arizona
Lake,
built the camera that would take
about the
first
horsemen.
pictures of
Oh, yeah.
Titan's surface.
my sister heard that, and all the
did.
experience in Fort Ruger. And also in Korea, in the VIP quarters.
Now, Dad, we don't want to just hear ghost stories, though. We want
Huh?
to hear
Well,
other
whatever,
things, too.
whatever. Well, you know,
I mean,
this is not going to be the only installment.
they are ghost stories.
No,
No,
we
I-
want to hear other stories too, like
Yeah.
your war experiences.
And growing up, and
Growing
grandma
up.
and grandpa, and
What do you mean? What do you mean growing up?
growing up, you know, Kapahulu and Mo'iliili, you know, running through the rice paddies and the Chinese.
Oh, that's not ghost stories.
No, we
We're
don't
not
want
trying to
ghost
do only
stories.
ghost stories. We're trying to do your life.
Well, whatever stories he wants to talk about.
Yeah. Whatever story you want to talk about. The good, bad, and ugly.
Mostly bad.
Like, you know, how you finally got Grandma to go out with you.
Who?
Grandma.
Why would she go out with you?
Yeah, how did you get her to go out with you?
No, I don't want to talk about that.
Oh,
Oh,
come on, Dad.
Alright, I'm going to test this. How do I stop it?
He defied
No,
the
no,
principal.
no, no, no.
And then he put his hands up with the yardstick. Whack, whack. Stubborn. Mom, you have to go change. Put a new top on.
What?
You have to change.
What, Jim?
Change your top. So you can sit.
What's wrong with that? Yeah, Matthew? What's wrong with this? That's how I dress at home.
Well, we want to you know, your children, your grandchildren want to remember you.
Huh?
clear up
Great
the table
grandchildren.
or something, Matt?
Well, that's okay.
No, it doesn't matter.
That's okay.
It's not really in there.
Go change.
What?
Go change, and then you can sit over there.
No, that's not the way that you're.
It's the wrong direction, Mom.
He's being environmentally
Hey,
conscious.
I'm not finished with the kitchen yet.
Oh well, we can do it later.
Alright, Mom.
How long this thing run?
The tape is about an hour long, but I have 8 tapes.
I ain't gonna run 8 tapes. Not even full one tape.
Oh, I'm sure once you get going, Dad, you'll wax poetic. Okay, are we ready?
Yeah. Whenever you start. Let me know.
Wait. Should have come, right?
Okay.
No, she can come later.
Okay, start.
Okay, so
Okay.
this is April
First.
1st.
April
Fool's Day 2007. And here we are gathered at the Ishimoto residence in Hawaii. And we're interviewing the Grand Patriarch, Arthur Ishimoto. So,
Alright.
Dad, what do you remember about your growing up?
Well, I was born March 30, 1923. So yesterday was my birthday. I was 84 years old. I remember when I was a child, about 3, I jumped from a window and broke my left shoulder. And finally my parents took me to some quack doctor, and he
Quack doctor.
put my arm in a cast. And for that reason, I think my left arm is crooked. That also was a problem for my parents because I remember running down the street, going towards a place called Kuhio School. Oh, maybe 100 yards away, they chasing after me. Finally, they caught up with me and brought me home. From what I gather, I was really born on the corner of Wailea Avenue and Kapahulu. It was an old house, 2 stories high, but downstairs is nothing, just, you know, empty. And that's where I was born. Right at that corner, when I was about 4 years old, my sister Grace walked me across the street from the east side, Diamond Head side, coming back to the house. I ran across the street. I was run over by one of those Model T Fords. I remember the car going over me. Good thing the tires didn't run over me. I was taken to the hospital and I was fine. Then my sister Grace again took me swimming right where the Hawaiian Village hotel is right now. And then I fell in a reef and I started to drown. I remember going up and down, up and down. Finally somebody pulled me out of the water and I was saved. So that goes to show you I was very active, very, very rascal. When I went to kindergarten, I showed my streak of restlessness. I remember this kid giving me a bad time, so I punched him. And his older brother, who was in the 6th grade, came after me. So what I did was grab hold of a mop and start swinging a mop and chase after him. Then one day in the back of the school, there's a little bridge run over a creek. And this kid, well, I was a rascal, all of them hit at me. And this kid is trying to push me over the bridge. And you know, I was fairly large compared to my contemporaries. And I grabbed this kid, lifted him over my head, and threw him in the water. That's how bad I was. I got in more trouble in school because my rebellious attitude. I remember in high school, there were 4 classes, XY, XY, XYZ, YZ, YZR. XY is known today as the accelerated class, or what do you call it, placement?
Or like gifted and talented is what they usually call it.
Yeah, well, that's what the class I was in.
Uh-huh.
And every one of my classmates, with the exception of me and another person, all became lawyers or medical doctors. Every single one of them. Because we were in a smart class. In fact, when I was in kindergarten, I jumped grade, both in Japanese school and also in the English school. So I had a good memory and I advanced rapidly. Anyway, even in kindergarten, I remember being locked in by this Japanese teacher, but I opened the window, ran home. That's how bad I was. Then,
No, Warabozu.
yeah, they call it Warabozu. It's badass. Anyway, at this school in high school, I had the natural ability to write and write well. I was able to write nice stories, and I wrote these nice stories, but my English wasn't that great, so I got maybe C+ in English, but A+ in the story, you know, composition. And I remember this teacher, Mrs. Stafford, began to argue with me about one point, and I, being bullheaded, started to argue back. And never backed off on her. Finally, she yelled at me, says, "I want you to stand up and get out of this class. I don't want you to come back anymore." So I picked up my book. I said, "Thank you very much." I walked out of the class. So I stayed away from school for 2 days, and I was called back to school, and Miles Carey, the principal, asked me, now, what class do you want to go to? There's only one XY class. The rest are all, lower than XY class. YZ is the average class. Y0 is the guy's not too sharp up here. So to fit your schedule, Dr. Carey says, the only place I can put you is YZ, the middle class, and they don't have your mentality. I said, well, I can't help it. So I went into the class, and it was very boring because everybody in that class would raise their hand, ask the same questions over and over again. And I used to think that, boy, what a bunch of stupid asses in here. Well, as time went by, I got very bored. I used to scribble and doodle in the class. I used to get scolded from the teacher. And one day they gave us an intelligence test. I finished the test in something like 40 minutes. The rest of them needed to finish the test in 1 hour. Hey, I was 20 minutes ahead of them. When I turned my paper in, the teacher said, huh, that figures, you know nothing. I knew you were stupid. I walked out of class, never said a word. 2 weeks later, the result came. Teacher called me and said, I need to apologize to you, she says. You don't belong in this class, you belong in XY class. So you're too intelligent, for this bunch. So really apologize to me. But they couldn't change my class because to meet the schedule. So I had that ability, like my granddaughter Erica, to have good memory. I can remember things, photographic memory. I can remember numbers. I can never forget numbers. When I used to go to math class, I did a lot of my calculation in my head, multiplying, dividing, and all those things, all in the head, if they're not very huge numbers. So anyway, I worked, when I was a little kid, we were very poor. And my mother used to make rice gruel. That means cooking rice, a lot of water, so that it will expand the rice and be water and rice on it. We sprinkle salt on it. That's the way we eat sometimes. The lack of money. I never, ever ate meat, steak, pork chops, or anything like that. If you did have meat, you should chop it up small and put a lot of vegetables in it. That's the way we eat. We ate a lot of rice gruel and ume. That's the salty plum. That's what we ate as a child. And also remember, we lived on a dead-end street. The other side was the current LOI golf course, but it used to be called the fairgrounds. And nothing but trees and an open field on the other side. One night I got up about 1 o'clock to drink water. As I walked to the water faucet, I looked out the window, I saw a ball of light, flaming light, rolling through the skies, rolling and rolling and rolling, and bang, it hit the other trees and just splattered down. So, what I did was talk to my Hawaiian neighbor. So that's known as kahuna light. Kahuna light means somebody is trying to do bad things against somebody and having this light go towards their home. And once someone sees the light, it becomes ineffective. And that's what happened. This sounds like me telling a lot of fancy stories, but it's not. It's true fact. I saw it. Then, I remember as a kid, I used to sleep outside in a pub tent right next to the road. My friend and I, we heard this noise. Horses. Hundreds of horses. Clop, 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 clop. And it just kept going. I was so scared, I put my head under the blanket I wasn't the only one that heard it. My sister Fumi heard that too. The next morning she told me, "Did you hear the noise?" I said, "Oh yeah, I got scared." You know. From what I understand, again from this Hawaiian neighbors, is that they are all headless horsemen, and it's best no one looks, because if you look at that, something's going to happen to you. Unfortunately, I was so scared and didn't have a chance to look at it. So it was quite interesting, you know, living those days in an area where sparsely populated, a lot of trees around, you know. My next neighbor maybe 50 yards down the road, another one maybe 100 yards down the road, and a lot of trees. You don't see too many people around. I saw a lot of mongoose running around. And that's the kind of life I led. We all ran around without shoes. Our clothes, my pants, was made out of flour sack, bleached out. When we pee, was a little slot with a flap over it. Well, it's hard to do that, so what I used to do is just push my pants to one side and pee from the side. That was quite interesting. Then I had my kid brother, who was 4 years younger than me. Well, he and I got along real well, very well. But he used to always brag about me. Oh, my big brother this, my big brother that. He got in an argument with a kid when I was in 6th grade. He was in the 2nd grade. He said, "Oh, my big brother can whip your brother." So after school, this kid is waiting for me. "Hey, I understand. You told your brother that you can whip my ass." I said, "Oh, no." I said, "I don't know who you are. Why should I say that?" He started to swing at me. So we got to do a fist fight. Well, nobody got hurt. Then in Japanese school, I went to Campbell Avenue Japanese School. And since I jumped one grade higher, I was in the same class as my sister Marilyn. And Marilyn used to be embarrassed because, oh, my brother, boy, he's real badass. Well, anyway, this teacher was a mean teacher. He taught judo in the classroom. Okay? And kids were afraid of him because when he said, "You stay back after the class, stand in the back of the room." I mean, you grab the kid and throw the kid down, and slam him down. That's the way he was mean those days. Nobody complained. None of the parents ever would come and talk to the teacher about it. But me, being a rebel, I figured I'm going to do something about it. So he said, "Ishimoto, you get in the back of the class." Stood in the back of the class. As I went by my friend, I nudged him, I said, "Help me." He said, "I'll help you." So they went outside, they all grabbed rocks and waited for my whistle. And here comes this teacher, ready to grab me, and we used to wear those big leather belts with a big buckle on it. I took my belt off, I started to swing it around. I blew my whistle, here comes my friends, 3 of them, throwing rocks at the teacher. And we ran out. I never showed in class for 2 days, and here got a visit from the principal of the school. Said, "Your boy did this and that." Oh, I get a big lecture from my father. And my kid brother did the same thing. He goes to class, and they were mean, this teacher. He had a female teacher we used to call Pie Face. Why? Because she had a flat face like a pie. We used to call her Pie Face. Well, she was mean. She had my kid brother stay in the back of the class and take her hand out. So she used the edge of the ruler and started hitting his hand. And I hurt him, so my kid brother pulled out his pocket knife and swinging a pocket knife. I was at home, and the sun went down, it was getting darker. No Ricky, my kid brother named was Ricky. He didn't come home.
How old was he?
He was 4 years younger than me.
I mean, well, how old were you at the time?
Oh, I think I was 6th grade, He was 2nd grade. Anyway, So, you know, then the teacher came up to my house and said, "Oh, your young boy, you know, he took out his knife and tried to slice the teacher, you know, this and that." So, okay, we'll straighten this matter out. So everybody's looking for Ricky. Well, I knew where he was. Across the street in the bush, we all built a house like, you know, we used to play in there. I said, I think I know where he is. I go in the bush, it was getting dark. There was Ricky, crouched down. I said, hey, what happened? He said, oh, this teacher, she used a ruler and so hit him on my hand. So look at my hand. So I pull out my knife. Well, anyway, when I explained to my father, the subject just ended there. So in a way, Ricky was like me, rebellious. You know, we were like, but when we became adults, he towered over me about 2 or 3 inches. That's how tall he was. I wasn't a short guy either, you know. I was fairly tall compared to my contemporaries. Now, when I was about 10, my father sent me to a Japanese martial art course called Kendo. Japanese fencing with bamboo.
That's what we saw at the park yesterday.
And because my contemporaries were 4 or 5 inches shorter than me, and they were quicker and they were faster than me, and with that sword, size didn't mean making a difference because they can become about the same. And every time we have a match, I never won one match. I remember a whole school, our dojo goes to another school and challenges that school. I never won one single match. After trying for 2 years, I told my father I'm gonna quit. He said, why? I said, I can't win a match. I told him if I was a samurai, I would have been killed 1,000 times. So he says, okay, what are you gonna do? I said, I want to take judo. Then I took judo. Different story now. All my contemporaries, small, I used to slam them all over the place. So they had to pit me against guys 3 or 4 years older. I still did well in judo. Then, as we grew up, my brother, Paul, was the territorial, at that time, was in the state of Hawaii. Territorial of Hawaii. He was the bantamweight champion of the territorial of Hawaii. He went to the national AAU.
Boxing?
Boxing. He went to national AAU, nearly became a champion. Nearly. He lost in the semifinal. As a result, our Boy Scout troop, my brother was a scoutmaster, all the guys wanted to learn boxing came to our troop. As a result, one guy became bantamweight champion of the world. His name was David Kui Kong Young. Oh yes. We had several other guys that did real well in boxing. I did well too. So when I became about 17, I joined a CYO gym, Catholic Youth Organization gym. I began to box, but my opponents were all professionals. I didn't spar with amateurs, all professionals. And they were all main eventers, in fact. I held my own pretty well, except when a guy by the name of Yasutaki, he was the knockout champion of Hawaii. Boy, he caught me with one right hand and I went down on the floor. That took the cockiness out of me. I came to my sense that I'm not the best here, you know. Then, war came. No more boxing. No more boxing at
No
all.
more boxing because they outlawed it, or no more boxing because you decided to end it, to quit?
Well, they ended because of the war.
Oh, so they just
There's
didn't
no
have
more
any more?
boxing.
Okay.
Yeah. Then everybody had to do some kind of defense work, so we either went to the police station, fireman, or something. Since my oldest brother was a fireman, he pulled me in to become a fireman.
How old were you then, Dad?
At that time, I was 18 years old.
This is before Pearl Harbor? Is this before Pearl Harbor or after Pearl Harbor?
Right after Pearl Harbor. I remember Pearl Harbor because you see a lot of flags, you know, in the air, and then I couldn't see the airplane, but a lot of flags.
I mean, what was it like at the time? You know, when Pearl Harbor happened.
I was in Kapahulu,
So,
but some of the shells, unexploded shells, landed nearby, you know.
really?
Oh yes, unexploded anti-aircraft shells landed nearby and burned one of the houses down.
Wow. I mean, were people expecting war?
No. Well, I mean, you know, people used to talk about Japan, you know, the Germany, this, but we were too young to pay attention to those things, you know.
So, okay.
Anyway, so most people, well, University of Hawaii stopped, and no more school there. So most of us, well, high schools were going on. Most of us went into, you know, some defense work, merchant marine, working as stevedore, or working as a policeman, or fireman. My brother was a fireman, pulled me as a fireman.
So you graduated from high school and you were going to go off to the university and then the war came.
Yep. Yep. And the war came. So I became a fireman. My first station was Lanikai.
Mm.
That's where I met her. I
How'd
saw
you meet
this
her?
young chick riding bicycle back and forth. So I got kind of interested, but I couldn't talk to her. And one day I was fishing in front of we were right near the beach, so we're fishing and she went by, and then that's how we met and started to talk to each other.
Uh-huh.
So that's where our life got started, right there on the beach.
You remember that, Mom?
Yeah, but there was a friend of mine, she and I used to ride the bike, remember?
Yeah, yeah.
What was her name?
Violet.
He has better memory than I.
I used to whistle at her, she'd go. Put her nose up in the air. Well, anyway,
Exaggeration.
anyway, they asked for volunteers to 442nd. I volunteered. But they turned me down because you are a fireman. Fireman cannot go in. Policeman cannot go in. They really disappointed me because all my boyhood friends, the Honda brothers, two other guys, they all volunteered and were called to service. They left for Mississippi to train, you know, with the 442nd Regimental Combat Team. So next call for volunteers was intelligence service. So I went to see the chief of police and said, I want to volunteer. I want to quit. Please approve my, you know, resignation. He did.
So what year was that?
1943, when they called us. And then latter part of 43, then we had to take a test at the Nuanu YMCA. We all took the test, and then I passed, so they accepted me to get into the service.
How did your parents feel about that? Did they have any problems with you fighting against Japan?
No, they never said a word. They never said go, they never said don't go. They never said a word.
So what about your older brothers like Tomotsu and Paul?
They were too old.
Oh, they were too
They were
old.
too old to be called. And Ricky was too young.
Uh-huh.
I was just the right age. Okay.
Uh-huh.
I remember coming home for the last visit home, and you can see the picture there. All of us are lined up, you know, Hiram and everybody else. I'm holding in my arms the little Wade Ishimoto, my brother's bald kid. He was a cute little guy. But he turned out to be a good fighter later on in the army. With the Green Beret, with the Delta Force, you know, he made a name for himself. Anyway, that was my last visit home. And then we got on a troop ship. As we were ready to pull out, I was on the bow of the ship. I could see my parents standing there waving. I saw my future wife standing across the street. I could see her, she was waving or waiting.
This is out at
Pier 10, right here,
Yeah. Okay.
downtown Honolulu.
Yeah.
and then we pulled out slowly, and the ship turned around and started heading out offshore. The moment we hit the water out there, I got sick. And I went down in a hole and slept. I must have slept for 24 hours without getting out. Finally, I had a chance to get out and got used to the rolling of the ship. It took us about 5.5 days. We got into San Francisco and caught a train and all the way to Minnesota, and that was in January. Colder than hell when we reached there. The snow is up to about here, you know, about our ankle, above our ankle. And then we stayed in the camp. We trained there.
What was the name of the camp?
Camp Savage, Minnesota, which is about 18 miles south of Minneapolis. So whenever we had weekend pass, Saturday we have classes until noon, and then the weekend pass, and we have to be back by before midnight, you know, for Sunday night. And we also had a half-day pass on Wednesdays after lunch. We can't go too far, so we used to go nearby town of Savage and drink beer there. And so our life was learning the Japanese language, learning Japanese military lingo, learning Japanese tactics, the weapons they carry, all of those things necessary to become a military intelligence specialist. When we finished that course, they sent us to Anderson, Alabama to train for basic training. We learned how to fire the pistol, the rifle, the grenade launcher, the bazooka, and all of those things. We go on maneuvers, sleep out in the cold. I remember one night it was 4 degrees above zero. We had to sleep out in the cold. And once we got out of there and they shipped us back to Minnesota, and we kept training the Japanese language. Then they ship us out.
How long did that all take?
Then we went to Camp Stoneman, California, nearby your place, Camp Stoneman.
Where is that?
That's Pittsburgh, California.
Oh, okay.
Right near your place. Then it was hot. You know, it was summertime, it was hot. Gee, about 90 degrees, about dry heat there. And they said, okay, you go in, you guys are being shipped overseas. And so they let us wear woolen clothing, pants, shirt, and everything. What are these dumb guys doing there? Sending us in 90-degree temperature, and we have to walk 1 hour down to the ship. Everybody reached the ship, they're just soaking wet from sweat. Well, we knew. As soon as we made the bend and got to San Francisco Bay, it turned cold. I mean, the temperature dropped, you know. Dropped
You
down
mean
to
after
about,
you got underneath Golden Gate and out in the open
no, we
water?
went to Oakland.
Oh, okay, so you were,
Okay,
yeah.
we went to Oakland, but it got cold. I think it went down about 60 degrees, 65 degrees, somewhere thereabouts. And then we got on board the ship. I spent 31 days going overseas.
You
We,
didn't stop anywhere?
no stop whatsoever. We had one convoy, one destroyer. The reason they said only one destroyer is because our ship was extremely fast. You know, unlike other troop ships, it was extremely fast. USS Donald Woods. And it was a fairly good ship.
So what year was that, Dad?
1945, early 45. The war was still going on. So we shipped out to 31 days. We stopped by Eniwetok. And then the first time we've seen in like 2.5, 3 weeks, females in canoes. We've never seen females for everybody looking and whistling. That was quite a sight. And then we stayed on board the ship. Then we hit the Philippine Islands. We got on offshore, maybe about 3 miles, 4 miles. Came down a cargo net. we have to jump out to play a little boat called Higgins boat. And the boat will go up and
Oh,
down
boy.
about 10, 15 feet because of the swell. So when you're on a cargo net, you have to time it. As soon as you get high, you jump. One guy jumped when the thing was going down, broke his leg. You know, we had 1 casualties already. Then we went in.
You mean he died?
No, he didn't die. He just
Oh,
broke
okay.
his leg. So he was out of war for a while anyway. So we got on Higgins boat. We started heading inland. Fortunately, the fighting was inland already, you know. So we landed without any incident.
So where'd you land, did you say?
I can't remember the name of the place. Sounds like Alabang or something like that anyway. Then we got there, we stayed there for a while and got thirsty, so there's no ice cool or anything. We used to put our beer in our socks, soak in water, hang it on the side of the tent, so evaporation make the beer cold. That's the way we drank beer. Then they put us on a train, a cattle cart rather, no open. As we were going through the countryside, going more towards the front lines, the Filipinos see us and yell, "Hapon, Hapon, Hapon!" I mean, Japanese, Japanese, you know. Hapon doesn't mean
Oh.
Japanese. Hapon means Japs.
Oh, they were looking at you.
Not me, my other
I
guy.
mean, yeah,
I
yeah.
thought over them by that much, you know.
Yeah.
And they never realized that I am one of them. Once I go through the burials, the villages, I never had trouble because they never yell at me. They yell at the other guys. And as we go through the villages, you know, patrolling, looking for prisoners, oh, it smelled horrible. There's no sanitation system. They just get a hole and it's on a stilt, maybe about 6, 7, 8 feet high, and then the house is up there. You climb up the bamboos, the railing, get up there. And the toilet is just trapdoor open, they go right down to the ground. Gee, boy, that smell is horrible. Well, anyway, I remember that I was assigned to an organization called Allied Translation Interrogation Section, which is a section of G2, is the intelligence section of General MacArthur's headquarters.
Did you ever see General MacArthur?
No, I never saw him then. I saw him later in Japan. But anyway, we were being sent on temporary duty assignment everywhere, depending on where they needed us. I remember then that they sent me north. We landed at a place called San Jose. I went there by airplane, and then by jeep up to a place called Balete Pass. A huge fighting went on about several weeks before we went there. Then we headed towards the Cordillera Mountains, which is on the left, and up on the mountain, General Yamashita's headquarters. And the right side, east side, is Sierra Madre, and in between is a valley called the Cagayan Valley. And they had a stream that snaked its way back and forth, you know, until it hit the northern part of the island, a place called Apari. Well, anyway, after I got to Balete Pass, and I got on to a place called Bayombong, I went to the next village called Bagabag, Solano, and there's fighting going on now. Then finally we fought our way to a place called Tugui Garao. Then that's when I got my mission. So we need to know what's going on out in Sierra Madre. We know there's a lot of Japanese division up there. So I want you guys to get up there, me, another intelligence guy, and a squad of riflemen, okay? Now we're no longer in jeep, we're in this 3-quarter-ton truck and take 12 guys on board one time. Well, those guys were on that, but we were in the jeep. Me and 2 other guys.
Behind.
Yeah, we went ahead. Me, a lieutenant, myself, and the driver. We were about, I don't know, we were about 40, 50 yards ahead of them. snake away up the hill. They told us we can't go all the way, we have to get off, and then there's a minefield out here, up ahead, so we have to stop. Nothing doing. The mines are already on the road. That's why we missed the mine. The guys in the back got caught. They got heavily wounded. Nobody got killed. But we could stop then. We still had a mission to perform. And then some of the guys who were not wounded but just shook up, came up, joined us. As we went up the hill, maybe about 25 degrees, about that much. Climb up the hill, bushes and everything else. We saw there are mines up there, so we prowled with a bayonet, make sure we don't step on it. We left a mark on so that when we come down, we follow the trail, the same trail back. So we never hit the mine, but we did detect several mines up there. And then we were up there. Fortunately, we caught 2 Japanese stragglers up there, you know. We captured them.
Did they just willingly give up?
No, they were ready to fight, but we overpowered them right away.
Oh,
And they were much smaller than us, you know, so they're not big. Overpowered them right away. So they asked me to question this guy. Well, I didn't do it the way they do it Abu Ghraib. You know, beat the hell out of them, those things. I never did that. I used a little psychology. I let him sit down. First thing I told him, your war is over for you. We're not going to kill you. You go to prison, you spend the time in prison, and you're going to go home. I said, Nihon doko desu ka? Japan, where are you from Japan? And what king? King doko desu ka? He told me what king he was.
you mean like district or state?
Yeah, just like Hiroshima king, Yamaguchi. He came from one of the odd, forget the name of the king already. I said, are you married? He said, yes. You have kids? I have 2. Shashin arimasu ka? You have photographs? Hey, he showed me the picture. Oh, ikutsu? How old are they? Told me, you know, young kids, you know, about 2, another one about 5. Oh, and I said, I bet you miss them. Oh, told me, yes, I miss them very much. I miss my wife. Good. I told you, war is over. You're going to see them. You know, I said, tabako ikaga desu ka? I gave him a cigarette. Oh, still smoking a cigarette. So I did all this psychology first. Then he got relaxed. I knew he was relaxed. I asked him, Kimi no butai wa nan butai desu ka? What is the number of your unit? He says, I belong to the Japanese 102nd Division, you know. They come from Kyushu. Then I said, I asked the name of the commander, and which organization do you belong to? You know, he told me I belong to this company, of this regiment. I put them all down. Then I said, what else do you have? How many total? He said, well, division has 11,000, he says. Oh, and then I said, what about other units up there? Oh, we have an independent brigade of armor, tanks, tank brigade. I go, wow, gee, in my head, I said, boy, that's going to be a big problem. So, but he says, we don't have enough fuel. We can't fight because we don't have enough fuel. Move it. And our ammunition's down low, our medical supply is low, our food is low. We're not in very good shape. And I got all that information. I said, thank you very much. Arigato. And I repeat again, Kimi no sensou o owarimashita. You know, shinpai shinai de. So I took him down, followed the trail down, through the minefield, took him on the jeep, hauled back to battalion headquarters. I reported to the colonel. I said, this prisoner, I interrogated it, this is the information I presented to him. And he was very, very happy that, you know, that we're not going to face that kind of heavy fighting up there. And that was my real experience getting up there. Through the minefields, almost got killed. You know that? He almost blown up. Oh, they were shooting at us. They knew we were there. Okay, the thing, bullets flying over the head. Then they were lobbing mortar shells too. They know Americans were there. So we just stayed low and waited until they stopped, and then we start crawling our way out. That's when I told this guy.
What were these soldiers surprised because they were seeing a Japanese
Oh, yeah.
on the American side?
Yeah. Yep, they were surprised. But I told them, I said, "Boku no chichi to haha wa Yamaguchi ken Yanai desu. Yamaguchi ken shirimasu ka? Hai. Yanai shirimasu ka? Hai. Yanai shirimasu." You know.
So they understood that where you
This
came
is
from.
right near the ocean, he told me. The Boku no chichi to haha wa Yamaguchi ken. Kumage-gun Yanai. He was surprised I knew all these things, you see. You know. Then,
But he understood then you were from Hawaii, not from
yeah,
Japan.
I told him I was for Nikkei, Nikkei, or Nisei, And then after that, I came back to the headquarters. They never recorded my combat experience and all that, because I was there only about 20 days. In order for it to go down on record, you gotta be there a full month, with the unit. So it never showed up on my record I was out there fighting. And then, backtrack in a moment, as we were going to, with other convoy, passing the island, a truck was still occupied by the Japanese. We had a submarine alert. And they fired a torpedo at us. They put all of us down in a hole, lock all the hatches, because if one section is flooded, the others will be saved. I was on the left side of the ship. I felt the ship making a left turn, severe left turn. That means there was a torpedo coming from right to left. You can hear the water splashing against the hull. We heard that. We also had aircraft alert too, Japanese airplane, We had those things happen to us.
You mean like those torpedo
But
bombs?
after all clear sound, I came on board. I saw the gunnery sergeant on the bow of the ship. I walked up to him and said, "Hey, what happened?" He said, "Oh, they fired us." "How close?" "Very close," he says. "Very close." So if we didn't make that turn, we would have been hit. We would have been in the water, dead. You know that. So
Well-
we had that kind of experience going overseas.
Did they drop depth charges?
Well, a destroyer went over there,
Oh, okay.
looking for them and dropping depth charges, yeah. But we have to keep going, we had a mission to perform. Anyway, finally, I came back to my unit, and then I saw this compound, Japanese prison wall compound. Every morning, this Australian major will march these guys to a location, and then they do their work and back. They're all swinging their arm, and the guy taught them to sing "God Bless America." God bless America. They were swinging their arm. There's one guy. My headquarters was in a bombed out shelter, made of concrete and steel, bombed out, and the few rooms are good. So we set up office space in there to review all the documents. Review the documents, see if it's current or not. And every morning as I go up the steps, I used to see the Japanese guy sweeping there. Saw him for a few days in a row. Finally I stopped by and said, "Ohayou gozaimasu." "Ohayou gozaimasu," very meekly. "Tabako ikaga desu ka?" He said, domo, domo. And they took, every morning I gave him one cigarette. So happy. You know that? He's so happy, give him. And that lasted for a few weeks. Then they dropped the bomb. But prior to that, we knew something happening because a lot of activity we're getting ready for something big coming up.
No, you were still in the Philippines.
Yes,
Okay.
okay. We knew activity. A lot of things are happening. People being sent out to this unit, that unit. And then they told me that I'm going to the 41st Infantry Division, I Corps. See that black patch there?
Mm-hmm.
That's the first corps. Then you see the sunshine, semicircle of the 41st Infantry Division. That would have been my division. The one in between is 37th Infantry Division, is a division I was temporarily assigned to when I captured the prisoners.
Mm-hmm.
That's why it's over there. The last one is 41st. I remember I said to you guys what would have happened
Yeah.
if we landed. We were supposed to gather near Philippines, all the ships, 3,500 ships.
3,500 ships?
Yep, 3,500 ships. That includes battleships, cruisers, submarines, troop ship, half of them troop ships. And we were to invade Kyushu, Japan. Now, Kyushu is a mountainous country. So the southern part is extremely mountainous too. And there was Ariake Bay right in the center, more than south. On the left, Kuneshiro or something. Anyway, that's where the Marines are hit. And then southeast is Miyazaki King. And that's where we, the 41st, were supposed to get in there. Well, that was the intent. But when the war ended, I learned through the Japanese operations order called Kitsugo. Kitsugo means decisive battle. It's a neat name, the Kitsugo. I read through that. My golly, I would have never have made it because they had a plan. We thought they had only about 1,200 airplanes. Nothing doing. They had 12,500 airplanes. What they did was they held on to it. They knew, there's going to be less battle. They hid it under the bridges, in tunnels, inside of buildings. They could never be detected. And all of these airplanes were to attack us as kamikazes. Okay? Their plan was to hit us 150 miles out first. As soon as Armada reached 150 miles, they would come and hit us. They would keep hitting us and hitting us and hitting us without stopping, because the plane will run out of fuel, have to land on board the carrier. They have to refuel, rearm, and take off. That places a lot of burden on the pilots and on the ground crew. If you keep doing that, they're going to get exhausted. That was the Japanese plan. Now, they expected a percentage of the troop ships and all the battleships to come through. But they had this submarines, long-range submarines called Kaiten. It has huge torpedoes on the bow of the ship. And they had a range of 120 miles. And they were going to ram all the ships as they come in. Another kamikaze. They also had the smaller submarines with a shorter range. As we approached closer, maybe 90 miles, they were going to use that. And then they had the Oka, guided Japanese bomb. Japanese sit on top of the bomb to guide the plane, airplane, bomb down to destroy our ships. Then as we approached much closer, then they had other kind of, devices to come after speedboats with bombs loaded on it. Then when we hit close to the beach, they had this underground layer of Japanese scuba divers.
Oh my gosh.
In layers, steel door. No telltale bubbles because they're breathing pure oxygen. And they can stay there for about several hours, you see. They were waiting for us. As soon as we get close to the beach, they're going to float up. No telltale bubbles. They're going to attach us on the side of the troop ship. Stop. Well, anyway, these scuba divers would float up and then attach themselves to the hull of the ships and blow us up. Now, those of us, if we got through, the whole shoreline was mined. And then there were hills all about 50 yards inland, jutting out straight up, and they were about 50 meters high. That's about 150 feet high. And all those cliffs had gun emplacement, machine guns, and cannons, and everything else. So they were prepared for our landing. Of course, U.S. would not just let us go in. They had the plans of bombarding, aerial bombardment, battleship bombardment, strafing the beaches, to give us a chance to get in there. And that was a plan. And they also had 3 million Japanese females from the age of 15 to 41, and boys from age from 12 to all the way up to fight us at night. They were trained to fight at night using spears, pitchforks, and anything else to attack us at night. That was the plan. So dropping a bomb was a blessing. It killed only roughly 100 and some odd thousand Japanese, as compared to millions of Japanese being killed on the ground, and then a couple of million U.S. troops to be killed. So that dropping of the bomb was a blessing. Now, when the war ended, we were already en route. Before that happened, I was supposed to be on an airplane to take my team of 10 specialists, intelligence specialists, to land in Japan just prior to the surrender negotiation, okay? About 3 days prior to our departure, somehow they took my name off and put a guy named Joe Quarter in my place. He replaced me on the mission. The plane took off, I saw them off, then I got news next day, they all died. How did they die? It was the last kamikaze attack out of Kyushu. They came, attacked the island of Kyushu and headed towards Naha Air Base. So they put up the smoke pods. Unfortunately, the smoke pods, the wind shifted, covered the runway, and the guy trying to land, they couldn't land, so when they made a turn, they made a wrong turn and slammed right into the hill. And killed all 10 of my friends, and they buried up that punch bowl. But anyway, for us, we were on a ship ready to go ashore. As soon as the surrender was signed, I think it was September the 2nd or 3rd, somewhere thereabouts. As soon as they gave us the word to land, we proceeded to land. We landed, we had our own equipment, we had a jeep, headed towards Tokyo, told us where to go. When we got into Tokyo, we saw nobody there. The only people I saw were old men. No young kids, no women, no young men, old men only. My friend and I, we dropped our bag and placed the finance ministry building, nothing in there. We just drop our bag, that's it. Let's walk around and see what's in town. So he and I were full field pack, our helmets and a rifle. We started to walk around. His name was Lefty Kamishima. And we saw the sign say, Furo, Japanese bathhouse. We haven't had a bath in weeks. That's what you go through in war. In combat, you don't bathe for weeks. You take advantage of the rain, whatever water you can find. So we saw the sign say, Furo. Okay, so I said, Lefty, you go ahead, I got. I stood there with a rifle waiting, get off his clothes, took a bath, go in a hot tub, came out. I said, all right, your turn. I go in there, scrub myself. The 2 Japanese old men taking a bath in there. They were afraid of us. Anyway, we came out. Then we started to walk down the street. We can't find our quarters. By then it was about 8 o'clock at night, dark. Then we came across this hotel. It's a Daiichi Hotel. We saw this guy, uniform, walking back and forth in front of the entrance, and he says, war correspondence on the shoulder patch. So we asked him, do you know where so-and-so place is? He says, no, I just landed, just like you. He said, we're lost.
Sometimes, you know,
He said, ah, don't worry. He said, come with me, I'll arrange for you guys to stay in a room. So this is the first time, Erica,
how come it's in there?
in months
Put that in there. You
that I had the opportunity to sleep in a bed. While in the Philippines, I slept in foxholes, I slept on the ground. In a foxhole, when it rains, sometimes the water come right up and cover the foxhole, I had to get out. I remember one night lying in the ground and sleeping on the ground in the Philippines, I felt something on my back. I turned around, there's a snake snuggled up to me. That's how we slept. So again, it's the first time I had ever slept in a bed. Unfortunately, those beds were made for short Japanese and my legs were dangling off the side. But anyway, I was glad to sleep there. So next morning, I got up on top of the roof and looked around and said, oh, there's the building, and we found a location, went back there.
Wait,
Then,
we gotta stop. I need to change the disc.
okay, change.